Hello everyone! I'm so excited to start this series. It's been a long time since I've done a series in this group, and so I'm like stoked about sharing it with y'all. If you're watching the replay, use hashtag replay in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is a back to school makeup extravaganza series that I am doing in my VIP customer group. So you won't find this one on my public wall. This one will not be available for sharing except for the YouTube link. I am going to put this headband on just because I really don't want to get this in my hair. I'm not washing my hair tonight. I shouldn't tell y'all my dirty secrets. If you're on the live, I want you to comment and leave an emoji or something of that sort. Say hi, whatever you're comfortable with. That way I know who's watching live. And we're going to cover foundation application basics, okay? This one might be a little lengthy just because there are so many options. And although I'm going to do one thing to my face, I'm going to kind of cover everything. Speaking of that, that made me realize that I forgot a couple of options. Here's your sign that we have so many options. I think I'm still missing some, but we'll cover the bases, okay? So, the very first, most important thing when it comes to foundation, well, step one, which is not even included in this video, is skincare. Your makeup is only as good as the skin that you're applying it to. So if you're not taking care of your skin, if you're having breakouts, if you're not drinking water, the whole nine, you need to do that first. Skincare is number one. Tori, hit me with your question, but no, this is not the live makeup class that you're supposed to have added people to, if that's what you're confused about. This is my VIP group. The live makeup event is a whole nother group. But skincare is number one before anything else. Foundation, in my opinion, is like a Band-Aid to cover up your blemishes and your bad skin. But you've got to fix your bad skin, get to the root of the problem before you're ever going to be happy with any foundation ever. So anytime someone comes to me and is like, oh my gosh, my skin is so terrible, I need really good coverage, I'm like, no sis, you need really good skincare. Start there, then we'll talk. So, we've moved past the skincare lecture because I could take that on forever and ever and ever. The next step is primer, okay? So, I use this Glorious primer. I use like a pea-sized amount, and I'm about to show you exactly what I use. Okay, this bottle lasts me 6 months, maybe even 9 months of daily use. So I literally use a pea-sized amount of primer and I apply it all over my face. Primer, if you've ever painted a wall, you understand like kind of the concept here. You're trying to fill in your fine lines, wrinkles, pores, and just give an overall smooth, even complexion and canvas to apply your foundation to. So this is the Touch Glorious Face Primer. I use this on the daily. There's another option for primer, which I'm about to show you. But this is one primer option. And it helps kind of like lock your makeup in place too. It's going to help keep it exactly where you want it to be all day long. But you can also use Rose Water Toning Spritz as primer. It just takes about 3 spritz for your whole face. I use this twice a day in my skincare routine, so I'm not going to incorporate it as primer, but it is an option, and especially like when I'm in a hurry, if I've got my rose water on, I know I'm good to go, but I still prefer my Glorious primer over that. So now we're going to get to the nitty gritty. Who's ready for foundation? I am. Is everyone else ready? Because I'm about to blow your mind. First of all, let's see. Let me give it 1 second so we're all caught up. Okay, so I have like normal to dry skin. You can tell I've got some redness. I've got some dark circles. Sometimes I have some blemishes. Gross, I didn't even know that was there until I turned my head. Ew. No. Okay, so my skin is going to be different than your skin and her skin, and my personal makeup preference is going to be different from everyone else's. My opinion on certain products is going to be different from everyone else's. But that's just this. This is my opinion with my experience with these products that I've been using for the last 4 years. So there's not necessarily a right or a wrong answer. This is just what I've found that works best for me and works best with the products that I'm using. So we've primed. Now we're going to start. We've got literally so many foundation options that there's 2 not pictured here. Hey girls, thanks for watching. So I'm going to list these off really quick. I'm going to start with BB Cream. This is a super light coverage tinted moisturizer. Okay, very dewy finish. It's going to give you a glow, and it's just going to kind of even your complexion and enhance your complexion, but it's not going to give a ton of coverage. It will cover my redness, but it's not like, oh my gosh, like, do you even have a flaw? No, this just gives you a good dewy finish. I love this when I'm in a rush. I love this when I'm at the river or when I'm camping and I'm getting ready in a hurry. And I'll go through how I apply it all after we go through the types. That way you kind of have in your head what type you want. So yes, while you're watching this and I'm going through the types of foundation, I want you to comment which type you think would work best for you and your super fast routine. So we've got BB Cream, light coverage, dewy finish. We've got pressed powder. So this is the matte finish pressed powder. I grabbed the wrong thing, but we'll go with it because it's, for visual purposes, it's the same. So the matte finish pressed powder is gonna feel like a powder, look like a powder, gonna dry down like a powder. It's gonna be a medium coverage, especially when you pair it with concealer. You're gonna have nice coverage, or you can use pressed powder and BB cream, and pretty much that's one of my favorite go-tos in a hurry. Gosh, where's my other? Okay, so we have a matte finish pressed powder. We also have a satin finish pressed powder. What is a satin finish? It's a little more creamy. It's not going to dry down matte. We're still talking medium to full coverage depending on how you build it and what you use it with. So there's 2 pressed powders. I have a loose powder that's apparently on the loose. I don't know where it's at right now, but it's going to be light to medium coverage. It is a loose powder in a jar, and you could build it up a little with concealer, but I usually use loose powder when I have a spray tan because my spray tan is already covering a lot of my flaws, so I just throw some loose powder on and go on out the door. But now we're going to get to the more popular products because, let's be honest, none of us really are super confident in our own skin and want to rock it. Like, that feels a little sad to say. That's why I love skincare so much, but it's true. Like, we want to look flawless, like fresh off a magazine page, flawless all the time. So we've got liquid foundation, which is medium to full coverage, depending on how you apply it, what you apply it with. If you use it with concealer or throw pressed powder on the top, like, you're locked in, you've got your liquid foundation going. And then, last but not least, the new full coverage stick foundation. Okay, this stuff seriously locks it in. Oh, let me rewind 1 minute. The liquid foundation is going to be liquid when you apply it. It's going to dry down to more of a matte finish, and it is really, really lightweight. So you pretty much feel like you're not wearing any makeup. It's like a hot seller. Lacey, I feel the same way. Usually liquid foundation or BB cream are my go-to, but it depends on my mood. So like, Tori, I hope that kind of answers your question. But the reason that I have them all is that I love them all and I use them all, and I literally pick my foundation depending on what kind of mood I'm in that day. So back to the stick foundation. This is full coverage. Of course, I still wear concealer with it because I use my concealer to highlight. I need a little sweet tea break because this is a lot more talking than I anticipated, but like I want you guys to be educated on what we're using and why we're using it before we get started. So, the stick foundation is kind of a creamy finish. It's not like a true matte, but it's not dewy. I hope that makes sense. If you're dewy, you're like glowing, and we're matte. We're more on the matte side with these last few, with the powders, liquid foundation, and stick foundation. Now the BB cream, you are going to be glowing, people. Literally glowing like you've just put moisturizer on. Taylor, let's get you the stick foundation ordered on your link. That way you get credit for it. And now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty about what we're applying our foundation with. So, I use my hands sometimes. I know. It's just, people don't do that anymore. It used to be like so common, I feel like, and now everyone's like, you use your hands? I wash my hands before I use them, and the only thing that I use my hands to apply is BB cream. Just because it comes out like a moisturizer, I throw it in my hands, throw it on my face, and go on about my day. So, while we're talking, if you think that you need BB cream, I want you to comment the word BB cream or BB. Just drop BB. BB. That way I can color match you, we can go over it, and we can see how it's going to fit in your morning routine. If you're anything like me, I like to sleep until the very last minute possible. And go away. This is serious. And I don't have time to be like really doing the whole 9 with a brush and concealer and this and that. BB is my go-to when I'm in a rush, okay? I apply it with my hands. You can also apply it with a damp blending bud. Please don't judge me. This one is nasty. I know it. Or a flat brush. Those are my go-to for BB cream. I'm missing one brush actually. For pressed powder, which I mentioned, I use it either over BB cream or by itself with concealer, whatever. Pressed powder comes with a little sponge in your compact. I do not really care for this as far as application. I just don't feel like it goes very far for me. But that's, again, my personal preference. So with pressed powder, I like to use the Powder Puff brush, which is this nice, thick, fluffy brush. And it's kind of short and cute. I don't know. Or the powder concealer brush. So this does have an end to apply your concealer with. And then this end is more dense and fluffy, kind of like a small version of the Powder Puff brush. So I use this for pressed powder as well. Now we're getting to the real stuff. This liquid foundation, y'all, is so liquid. I mean, which I haven't shaken it up, but it literally is like water. It's so liquid, okay? So for me, applying it with your hands is just gonna mean that you're using way too much product. What I do is I take 4 drops of liquid foundation and put the 4 drops on the blending bud, which I dampen the blending bud first, run it under the sink, wring it out. 4 drops of liquid foundation on it. And I do this number with my liquid foundation so that I have 4 drops like all over my face. Then I take my powder brush, this powder concealer brush, take the powder side and buff it in little tiny circles. Okay, and that's how I build it up to have nice coverage, but I'm only using 4 drops for my whole entire face. So this has, once you open it, it expires in 12 months. I guarantee you that this could last me longer than 12 months, but typically I either throw it out or I've already used it all in that time frame. I do try to keep up with that because if your makeup is expired, you're not going to like the way it looks on your skin. It's not going to apply smoothly, and it's just plain gross. Like, it's honestly growing bacteria, and then you're just smearing that on your face. So if it's time to go through and reboot all of your stash, I'm like distracted because I think my husband is leaf blowing right now, but at first I thought it was the vacuum. Anyways, if you need to go through and replenish your stash, of makeup and make sure everything is new and fresh and keep up with the dates, do that, keep it fresh, and then we're going to go over the last thing, but I need some more sweet tea. This is pitiful. Like, I really expected this to be short and sweet, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, we need to cover it all. Everyone needs to know my recommendations, and then I'll do one application. So you guys start dropping in the comments which foundation you want to see me apply at the end of this video, and the one that gets the most votes is the one that I'll use. So then the stick foundation, I apply it by making a line here, 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 little dot here, little here, little here. Then I take this nice, flat, dense kabuki brush and I hold it up towards the top of the brush so that I'm not putting too much pressure on it. And I just buff little tiny circles. Little tiny circles all over my face. Have nice full coverage, and it's just blended really quickly. So I see 2 votes for sticks. Y'all keep voting. We're going to cover the last little bit of foundation application, and then I'll apply one. So, probably the most important factor in deciding which foundation you want to try is deciding your skin type. So if you're oily, you're going to want to stay away from the BB cream because it's just going to make you shinier, and I'm positive that that's the last thing you want. If you have truly oily skin, first of all, you're going to want to implement the oil control mask into your weekly routine. And then I would go with the powder, and I would use setting powder as well, which we're not covering setting products today, but just throwing that in there. Setting powder is going to help keep the oil down. If you're combination skin, you can get away with liquid foundation or pressed powder or the stick. Oily could do the stick too, or any of the other 3. I would just super stay away from BB cream if you're oily. Combination, again, if you're even a little bit on the oily side, stay away from the BB cream. The other 3 should be fine. Now, if you're normal to dry, you're going to be like me and prefer the stick, the liquid, or the BB cream over pressed powder. I love pressed powder, y'all, but when my skin's dry, it just doesn't look as pretty as the liquid or the stick or the BB cream. So that's just like a little touching on how to choose. But of course, like, I do individual consultations. So if you need a color match or you're not sure which foundation is the perfect match for your skin type, I want you to comment match and I will help you. I'll be your little matchmaker, okay? You'll be in love with your foundation by the time it's over. I promise. If you're not, it's backed by a love it guarantee. So when your foundation hits your mailbox, you've got 14 days to try it. If you don't love it, send it back and get a full refund. And then you have up to 90 days to exchange the color or exchange it for product credit. Yes, you heard that correctly. 90 days to figure out whether you like it, whether your color's right, and whether or not you want a product credit refund. 14 days to get a full refund besides shipping and tax. So when people tell me like, oh, I had that and I didn't like it, and then I find out that they didn't return it, I'm like, don't know what to tell you. Okay, so it's looking like the stick foundation is the winner. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds to get your votes in because there's 10 people watching right now. Tell me which foundation you want to see me apply, and that will be the winner tonight. Because, like, I mean, I need to do lives on my regular wall all the time anyways. So, trust me, you'll be seeing a lot more foundation options in the future. But for tonight's sake, I'm not going to like keep putting foundation on and then taking it off and doing another one. That would be a little excessive. Are we all good with the stick? I hear the leaf blower again. He's obsessed with that thing, y'all. Liquid. And what if I do half stick and half liquid? Let's do that. That'll be fun. Okay. So we've primed. We're priming no matter what. We're going to do liquid on this half and stick on this half. Please ignore my little broken nubby nail. Sweet Nana is going to fix it for me this weekend. I'm actually just going to do a whole new set because we're going to convention in Orlando next week. But yeah, I broke out on the car door yesterday and it just looks so sad when I touch my face. Bless it. Okay. Liquid. With the liquid, I mentioned it's like really super watery. So I squeeze out my dropper into the bottle, put my lid back on tight, and I shake it. That way everything in the bottle is the same consistency and I'm not getting like a more liquidy chunk and then like a chunkier chunk. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because that's not what I want. I hope that this like ends up looking even because I'm going to the gym after this. I hope it looks okay. Okay, so squeeze out my dropper again. Fill my dropper up. Let me dampen my blending bud. Okay, squeezing the blending bud out. We're going to take 4 drops. 2, 3. Apparently I can't squeeze the dropper. 4. Okay. That's actually probably way too much for one side of my face. But we're going to go with it. Of course, I always like carry it down my neck too, but I'm not going to go too far. I'm not going to get carried away with that tonight. I'm going to let this sit for a second. I don't normally do that, but I'm going to show you. We're going to be on the same page on both sides of my face. And take my stick foundation. Yes, I dampened the bud before I started. I always use it damp. Not wet, but just damp and then wring it out. Okay. That's literally all the stick foundation that I use for my whole. That's it. That's all. Like, I've been using the same one since March. So, I promise there's a lot in this little package. Okay, I'm going to take my powder concealer brush and blend in really nice, small circles. And make sure I'm holding my brush up towards the end so I'm not putting a bunch of pressure at the end. Because if you're pushing down too hard, you're not going to get as good of a blending effect. Does that make sense? I think I just like made that term up. A blending effect. And I just blend it in like little circles. That's it. It's so weird, like only doing half of my face. Get in there around my nose because it's always red. I usually have to add concealer around my nose too. I've had like some serious allergies going on, y'all. I don't know. I know like several people have little ones that are sick and I'm like, it's summer. No one's supposed to be sick right now. Hate it. Okay. So we're just about blended with the liquid. I'm like in the habit of not blending it over my eyelid because I always do my eyeshadow before I do my foundation. Okay, so you can see what I mean. We can still see a bit of redness and a little bit of a dark circle. So what I usually do with the liquid foundation is add concealer here and here to highlight and also just add a little coverage in those. Those are my problem areas and it just so happens to be the right spots to highlight, so it works out. So that was the liquid. Now we're going to go in with the Kabuki brush and blend this full coverage stick foundation. Again, we're not pushing too hard and we're making little tiny circles. I haven't noticed my dog's allergies being bad, Lacey, but Ruger's had an ear infection. Well, he has them on and off, and usually like me just cleaning his ears out will handle it, but it didn't this time. So we went to the vet and he had to get a medicated cleanse because he literally had so much crap growing in his ear. So that's the only ailment we're dealing with right now. But Roscoe usually has bad allergies in like March. Roscoe will like be ready to chew his skin off. Okay, so we're pretty much blended here on the stick. Now, I did not put stick foundation up under my eye to really blend under there because I don't like to do that with the Kabuki brush. It's just so big, it's hard to get it under your eye. That's where the concealer comes into play. And you can tell there's like texture there, but that color is covered. You can always add more to problem areas. I mean, like, I can show you. Because I know sometimes people are concerned, but like that spot is really freaking red. I just dropped that. For my everyday use, I either do liquid pressed powder or BB cream, and then like I save the stick foundation for special events because it literally looks that good on my skin. And I'm not saying that like in a conceited way, please don't take it that way. It just literally has like a really good airbrush finish. So yeah, you can see now it's completely covered. It's completely blended in. Get there around my nose. Voila. Liquid foundation versus stick foundation. And I think if I move my head around enough, you can see this one is more matte. It's not like a crazy difference. It's subtle, but this one feels creamier and this one feels more powdery. I hope that really helps like break down the difference here. Because as far as coverage, I mean, the liquid foundation can be built up to cover more, but the full coverage stick foundation really just goes in there and does it. And then, I mean, of course, add more if you prefer more, but we're covered. Like, I would scare you now if I took I almost said a washcloth, a makeup wipe, and wipe this off. It would literally be like, now that you've finished, you're going to have to go back and watch the beginning of the video. That way you can see and like re-visualize what I looked like before this video started. Mind blown. So don't forget to comment match if you need a match to foundation or a match to color and you've already chosen your foundation. We're starting with another subject tomorrow. I'm so excited. This will go on for like 5 to 7 days. Although I don't know that I'm going to get to do a live in here every night. There will at least be a pre-recorded video. And let's see. I do get spray tans a lot, and no, it's not creepy because I post them all the time. I do keep a darker shade for my spray tans. So let me see if I don't have the spray tan stick here and I can swatch them. I think I do because I just had a spray tan. Okay, yeah. So here is my regular color. This is what I wear on the everyday, which I still have a bit of spray tan left on my arms and stuff, but this is my everyday stick foundation, and then this is my spray tan color, which I've somehow managed to break a little bit, but that's my spray tan color. And my spray tan color for some reason in the stick looks a bit more orange when you first put it on, but as you blend it, it blends out perfectly. Like, when I have a spray tan and I wear the stick foundation, you cannot tell me anything because I feel like the prettiest person in the world. But yes, it's like a huge difference. Let me see if I can't like blend it a little bit. So you can see. And this color, this darker color, matches almost every single one of my spray tans perfectly. So I get a different spray tan every time I go because I don't mind to be Morgan's guinea pig. And so it still matches almost every tan perfectly. That difference is crazy. It's almost like a little embarrassing that I'm that white on the regular, but Don't mind me. I get my spray tans on a Thursday. So if you see me on the weekends, it's every other week. So if you see me on the weekends looking tan, you know what happened. But I pretend that it's like my natural skin and I'm like a sun-kissed goddess. And I'm not. Because if I go in the sun, I just look like a lobster. And I don't want that. So, spray tan, no spray tan, stick foundation, liquid foundation, stick foundation. We've done so much foundation. Like, wow, how fun. This is like the foundation of our back to school series. I love a bad pun, y'all. I really do. But this live has been long enough. I super appreciate all of you who stuck around and watched it. Don't forget, I'm here to help. That's what I do. If you need help, like if you can't figure out how to apply your regular foundation and it's not even unique, message me. I'm not going to be mad at you. Like, I'm not here to just sell you something. I legitimately want you to know how to properly put on your makeup and like it. If you decide, oh, after I use this tube, I want some from you, that's great. If you never want some from me, but you just like to be in this group and listen to me ramble about my life, that's great too. I love you all the same. And I just want to help. That's what I like to do. Like, I had to watch a whole training this morning on pouring from an empty cup and how you can't do it because, like, I'm at this point where I'm not scheduling me time into my schedule. I'm literally not. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, this, and this. We're going to do this, this, and this, and solve everyone's world problems, and I'm still going to come home and cry because I have laundry to do. That's just who I am as a person. I've accepted it, but I'm happy to help however I can help. I can give suggestions on anything that I know about, and if I don't know about it, I'm going to direct you to someone who does. I'm not going to pretend to know something that I don't know. So let's lay that all out on the line. Happy hump day. We're done. See you guys tomorrow, either live or via pre-recorded video. We'll see. Good night.